I bought this ZR2 brand new, and I've already done a whole bunch of modifications to the suspension on the front end with mixed results. GM failed to put anything above average size tires on the ZR2, so one of the first things I did was put 34.5, almost 35-inch tires on it. Found out immediately that, of course, they rubbed, so I leveled the truck and then found out that the upper control arms didn't work with the leveling kit, and then I put on different Dirt King upper control arms that I thought would help. And while they made it better, they still made contact with the factory coil springs. And then I spaced the front bumper forward. That way the tires had clearance up there, but then the tires were still hitting the back of the fenders towards the cab. It made the suspension not ride that great, and the tires still rubbed. So we're gonna fix all that today. I got different suspension parts for the front end, and I have some ideas as to how I'm gonna get these tires to fit without rubbing at all, anytime, whatsoever. So you can see here the tires are still rubbing the back of the fenders, mainly on the right side, the passenger side, not really on the driver's side. Don't know why. That's how it's always been since I got it. So what I'm going to do is replace the puck style leveling kit with this style, the little U shape that sits underneath the strut against the lower control arm. And it's just a simple little kit, nice anodized aluminum with all the nuts and bolts and washers that you need. It should go on pretty simply and easily, actually easier than the other style that I had on there. Now you might be thinking to yourself, hold on a minute, didn't you cut the studs on the top of your factory shocks? And the answer is yes, but I left plenty of thread left that I could still use the factory nuts and reinstall in the factory location. Not only that, but I also kept all the factory nuts for this exact reason. A little bit of an update, guys. Got this side done and we're no longer hitting the spring. This is at full droop. There's nothing underneath here and we're no longer touching. Also, I'm going to figure out how I can modify the back of the fender well to see if I can gain some clearance cleanly for these tires. So I'm going to take all this apart, see what's behind here, because this needs to go that way. So we have this bracket here. That's probably where most of the contact is made. So I'm going to see what I can do to modify this. Here's my experiment, guys. Keep in mind, I'm not sure if this will work. So the metal bracket behind here is removable. What I did was basically just smacked it a few times with the BFH, moved it back a little bit, drilled this hole to add another Torx. So this Torx initially just went through the carpet, goes through the carpet and this plastic piece, which sucks it all back in, trimmed out this excess. Probably should have left a little more to cover up this little section there, but I could try it on the other side and see how it works. So this should get us more clearance where this was rubbing. There is a frame rail back here. You'll see the ties in, so there's nothing really I can do here other than, of course, getting in alignment, trying to get more forward positive caster, which I probably will do at some point. The reason I haven't aligned it is because with these control arms on these 2019 and newer trucks, they used to have camber and caster up here. They don't anymore. It's only the lower control arm. It's not as important now to get it aligned right after you do upper control arms because there's no adjustment up there. They literally just bolt in one way. Man, it's hot. I'm just very happy that the upper control arm no longer hits the spring on the strut. Definitely sits lower now. This is the puck style. They're about 9.5. The other side is at 8. Now you have to take into account sway bar. Sway bar still connected, makes that affects things. So let's get this side done. Hopefully get it done fast. Check out the final result. Okay, got the passenger side done as well. Everything's buttoned up, and again, just like the driver's side, the upper control arm is not touching the spring on the strut anymore. Now it's time to work on this little mud flap extension thinger, mabobber. See if we can get clearance, because you can see here exactly where it's rubbing. See how these have the frame tied in? I don't know what some people call these, like crash bars or something. This is maybe what prevented GM from going bigger tires on this truck, because if this was engineered and designed with this frame and everything, how it's welded on, there's almost nothing they could do about that. And that's what's going to stop you from getting big tires without a big lift. Might have an idea. This is the side where it's really rubbing, so I'm going to take a different approach. Actually remove this bracket. I'm probably going to leave it off and then see what else I can figure out. Hey, that's not bad. I don't mind that. I'm actually pretty happy with that, boys. That doesn't look bad. It doesn't look super out of place, especially once I clean the dirt off there, so it doesn't look like something was already there. But this bolt is a factory bolt that was used for that bracket. It holds the mat back. This doesn't really look like I messed with it too much. The tire was rubbing there, so hopefully it doesn't rub anymore. If it does, it's going to be right there against the frame. And one thing left to do is just put it on and try it out. All right, now we are sitting at 10 3/4. I don't really know what that number means at this point, but it's on record. About 9 inches driver's side, 9.5 on the passenger side. Let's lift it up and just see how far down it goes. Passenger 10 3/4. This is about 11. Nothing's hitting the spring at all. It's close, but it's not hitting anymore. And back to about 9. See, before this is exactly where it's rubbing, and now there's no rubbing at all. Got miles of room. That was exactly where it was, so just getting rid of that flat basically in that bracket did the trick. Now on the other side, I'm going to leave it how it is, and I'll decide which one I like better. But honestly, both ways work excellent, and both look decently clean and factory-like. They don't look like I hacked anything up, because I didn't. Okay, first drive in the ZR2 with the fixed new leveled suspension. And still a very loud exhaust. Now here at the end of my driveway, there's a pretty big bump where the end of the curb is, so here's where I could feel the control arms hitting the spring. Nope, not at all. Awesome, feels just like factory. Super pumped with that. Well, I've driven it a couple of miles now, and I can say it feels just like it felt from the factory. It feels better without those upper 2-inch coil spacers. The new 1-inch level, I think, works much better with the ZR2. Paired with the Dirt King upper control arms, great combo. Links to these parts are below. Also took it in a parking lot, full turn, lock to lock, left and right, no rubbing at all. Good news on all fronts there. Successful video. Now that the suspension is settled from a couple mile drive, let's get a final reading for this new level kit. For reference, it's supposed to be just a 1-inch level. So 8.5 there. And in the rear, we're at 9. 8.5 up here again. And about the same in the rear, so altogether, pretty level. The front end still has a little bit of downward slope, but that's just fine with me. It's better than factory. Very happy with the end results. Links to everything I use down below, including merch if you'd like to support the channel. Thank you guys. See you in the next video. Now, some questions I was getting about the AW exhaust is how low does it hang? So I'm going to do my best to show you while I'm laying on my back on a creeper in a driveway. So if we look here, oh boy, this is going to be tough. So if I put that, that's generally pretty flat with the frame rail. That's about even. The front muffler is about even. Now the rear muffler does hang down a little bit. It's nothing crazy. Generally, if you were to just look at it, it would look pretty even with the frame. So I wouldn't say it necessarily hangs down. Now, could AWE make an adjustment to this? Yes. They could definitely change that and make you able to rotate this muffler, because the bottom part is lower than the top. So you could essentially flip this muffler 180 and it would be pretty much above the frame rail. But I don't think this is a real big deal, but I guess only time will tell when I finally get this thing off-road. But I'm not going to hit anything in the mall parking lots, that's for sure.